दोस्तों मैं हूं आपका मनपसंद आरजे मनीष और आप सभी को सप्रेम नमस्कार और सलाम नमस्ते। कैसे हैं आप सब लोग? आशा करता हूं आप सब लोग सकुशल होंगे, स्वस्थ होंगे, मस्त होंगे। लगे रहिए। आज मैं ACT कैनबरा के हेपेटाइटिस ऑफिस आया हुआ हूं यहाँ पे, और आज इसलिए क्योंकि आज है 28 जुलाई और आज है वर्ल्ड हेपेटाइटिस डे, यानी विश्व हेपेटाइटिस दिवस। ये आपको अवेयर कराता है कि हेपेटाइटिस क्या है। जी हाँ, एक लीवर की बीमारी होती है जो किसी को भी हो सकती है। चलिए, यहाँ पे हमारी ACT कैनबरा की मिनिस्टर आ चुकी हैं, हेल्थ मिनिस्टर, और आपको बताते हैं और आपको दिखाते हैं, कुछ लोगों से बात करते हैं कि हेपेटाइटिस क्या है, कैसे इससे बचाव कर सकते हैं, देखभाल कर सकते हैं। लगे रहिए, देखते रहिए रेडियो मनपसंद। जी हाँ, पूरा तड़का लगा के।
Thank you for coming despite the weather. On behalf of the board and staff of Hepatitis ACT, I welcome you all, friends, to our World Hepatitis Day morning tea. I'd like to particularly welcome our guest of honour, Minister for Health, Rachel Stephen-Smith, also Minister Davidson, Minister for Justice, Health, and Rebecca Vassarotti, Minister for Homelessness and Housing Services, and also a former EO of Hepatitis ACT. The theme for World Hepatitis Day this year is Hepatitis Can't Wait, and it recognises that we can't act to wait on the elimination of Hepatitis B and Hepatitis C. We know that as a result of the ongoing public health emergency, hepatitis screening and monitoring was significantly impacted during the last 12 months. As a community, we must address this if we are to eliminate viral hepatitis as a public health threat by 2030. There is much work to do, but there's also much to be proud of, and I'll let the Minister speak to that. 2021 also marks the 25th anniversary of Hepatitis ACT. In support to people impacted by viral hepatitis in ACT, we commissioned the wonderful Leigh D Walker, a local Canberra artist, to paint this beautiful mural titled Resilience. It's my pleasure to now swap places with the Minister. I'll hold the banner, and the Minister will speak about World Hepatitis Day and launch the mural. Thanks, Minister.
Thank you so much, Josh. I want to acknowledge the ongoing contribution to the culture and life of our city and region of the Ngunnawal people and the broader Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community, and acknowledge that this land always was and always will be Ngunnawal land. I'd also like to acknowledge everyone who is here today, particularly my colleagues, Rebecca Vassarotti and Emma Davidson. It's fantastic to be here. Of course, this is Rebecca and my electorate as well. A very familiar environment for me, having gone to school at O'Connor Co-op and Turner Primary School, and it's fantastic to see this unobtrusive little building that plays such an important role in our community getting this absolutely incredible facelift with this beautiful mural, and it's such an honour to be here today to formally launch it. Of course, World Hepatitis Day is recognised globally on the 28th of July each year to raise awareness of the impact and burden of viral hepatitis and to mobilise and scale up actions and activities which seek to reduce the incidence of viral hepatitis on a global scale. The date of July 28th is symbolic because it is the birthday of Nobel Prize winning scientist Dr. Baruch Blumberg. Dr. Blumberg and his colleagues discovered the hepatitis B virus in 1967 and developed the first ever vaccine for hepatitis B 2 years later in 1969. The World Health Organization reports that there are 325 million people living with viral hepatitis worldwide. In the ACT, there are approximately 3,386. I love the way they say approximately and then give you a very precise number. There are around 3,400 people living with hepatitis B and around 2,500 people with hep C in the ACT. And as Josh said, the theme of World Hepatitis Day this year in 2021 is Hep Can't Wait. It's absolutely critical that we harness opportunities like World Hepatitis Day to raise awareness of viral hepatitis in the ACT and bring into focus prevention, testing and treatment if we're to meet the agreed targets contained in the 3rd National Hepatitis B Strategy 2018 to 2022 and the 5th National Hepatitis C Strategy 2018 to 2022. The ACT, through the Statement of Priorities for Hepatitis B, Hepatitis C, HIV and sexually transmitted infections, is committed to reducing the transmission of and morbidity and mortality caused by Hep B and Hep C, and to minimise the personal and social impacts on individuals in the ACT who are living with viral hepatitis. The ACT Statement of Priorities identifies the goals for reducing the risk of Hep B, including to achieve hepatitis B childhood vaccination coverage of 95%, increase hepatitis B vaccination coverage of priority populations, increase to 80% the proportion of all people living with chronic hepatitis B who are diagnosed, and increase to 15% the proportion of people living with chronic hepatitis B who are receiving antiviral treatment. In terms of our progress, I'm really pleased to report that 97% of all children and 98% of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children in the ACT are fully immunised against hepatitis B, which is above our target of 95% coverage. But there is more work to do. By our estimates, only 66% of people living with hepatitis B have been diagnosed in the ACT. Of those diagnosed with hepatitis B, 22% are engaged in care and 11% of people are receiving antiviral treatment. So we do have more work to do. For hepatitis C, our goal is to reduce the incidence of new hepatitis C infections by 50% and increase the number of people receiving antiviral treatment by 50% each year. There were 19 cases of new hepatitis C infection notified to the ACT in 2021, and this number is actually a small increase on the 13 notified 5 years ago. Although case numbers have increased, I'm pleased to report that in recent years the percentage of people with a diagnosis of hepatitis C who've been then successfully engaged in antiviral treatment has increased by 100%. Whilst our targets are ambitious and we've seen some success to date, again there is still much work to do. And as such, the ACT government is proud to partner with key non-government organisations, including Hepatitis ACT of course, in reducing the incidence and prevalence of viral hepatitis in the ACT. In attending today's event and in honour of the 25th anniversary of Hepatitis ACT, I am absolutely delighted to be launching this spectacular mural titled Resilience by local Canberra artist Leigh D Walker. According to the artist, resilience has been influenced by contemporary stained glass, and you can really see that. And I'm not going to go through the meanings of all the colours and patterns. The plaque here really tells you the full story about the meaning behind the mural. But I think one of the important things, the name resilience and the hope of sunrise and the calming colours and the symbolism in this mural is so important. But I think it speaks more broadly to the safe place that hepatitis is for people in the community who are marginalised, who need somewhere to come that is not threatening, where there's no judgment, where they can reach out safely for the support that they need, and then get access to other services and supports in the community. And so I want to congratulate Hepatitis ACT on your 25th anniversary. I want to thank everybody who works for and with Hepatitis ACT right across the community to support some of the most marginalised and vulnerable people in our community to get the health care that they need. Thank you very much. It's been my great honour to be here to launch the mural, and it's going to really light up O'Connor for some time to come. Or is it Turner on this side of Turner? For some time to come. And thank you all very much for being here and having me today. Thank you.
Morning tea is now served, so please make your way through. Grab a coffee from the coffee van just here, but through the building, morning tea, and then out into the back courtyard where it's slightly warmer. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks, Josh.
Pleasure.
This is the mural, Resilience, a mural by Canberra artist Leigh D Walker. यहाँ पर है.
This is
Sorry.
This is the office of the hepatitis.
What do you know that I want to know? Anything fun?
You're all done people from our community.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, not any type of.
That's Leigh, who's done the beautiful artwork, the mural out here. चलिए इनसे बात करते हैं और पूछते हैं कि इनको इंस्पिरेशन कहाँ से मिला. यस ली और इस म्यूरल का नाम है रेजिलियंस और इट्स ली डी वॉकर. वेलकम ली
Hi
to
there.
Radio Manpasand. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Good. Tell us about this mural. How did you got inspired, or did you just got a call?
Well, I was contacted by Hepatitis ACT, and they wanted a mural that kind of embodied what their, philosophy and that kind of life-affirming philosophy that they provide to the local Canberra community. And so I essentially started designing a piece that that I tried to kind of make it into a piece of work that kind of enhanced and contributed to the safe space that Hepatitis ACT provide for the local community. And the design itself and the colour palette are based around resilience and nurturing. And as you'll see from the mural, there's a kind of real energy of a sunrise over the ocean, and sunrise is always very life affirming and has a suggestion of rebirth. And the ocean has that real energy of kind of holding space and kind of mother energy almost. And I also looked at incorporating eucalyptus branches, which are symbolic of resilience, because eucalypt trees are incredibly resilient with bushfires and very diverse kind of challenging weather that we get in Australia.
That's right.
And so I put all that together, and I also really wanted to create something that was very welcoming and kind of harmonious for the clients who use the services here, but also for the surrounding community.
Very fair. So you're based in ACT because your accent sounds like you're from UK?
Yeah, so I am originally from Scotland, and I've been in Canberra for about 10 years.
10 years?
Now, so, it's quite interesting. When we came to Australia, I desperately wanted to go somewhere that would have a proper winter, which, as we can see from today, Canberra really does have. So
today is London winter out here. It's raining, pouring, and it's so cold.
Absolutely.
So is this your profession, being an artist, or do you do some other?
So I am an artist full time, and that incorporates, I do murals, and I also do studio commissions and portraits and all number of things in the studio. I also do my own work in the studio, and I also do a bit of art teaching as well, and run regular classes in the ACT.
Oh, right. So people can contact you if they want to learn something.
Yes, they can, definitely.
Okay, so do you have more murals in ACT Canberra? We can go and have a look, or this is the first one?
No, they're. I'm just trying to think. I'm just about to start one for Greening Australia.
Oh, lovely.
And I've also done quite a few ones for private residences. And also ones outside Queanbeyan as well, on water tanks and things like that too.
Lovely.
So yes.
Thanks, Leigh.
Thank you very much.
All the best wishes.
Thank you very much.
And are you an Australian citizen now? Or you...
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm halfway through my application at the moment. So,
Okay,
yes.
lovely.
Thank
Have a
you.
great time. All the best.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye. Friends, we have Josh. Josh.
Hi, Josh Arnoldzak, Executive Officer at Hepatitis ACT. We're a community-based hepatitis organisation here in the ACT. We provide information, referral and support for people affected or at risk of viral hepatitis. Hepatitis, inflammation of the liver. There are 5 types. The 2 we work with are hepatitis B and hepatitis C. Hepatitis B is both hepatitis B and C are the most common bloodborne viruses in the world and the leading cause of liver cancer in Australia. There is no cure for hepatitis B, but there is a highly effective vaccine. Encourage people who aren't vaccinated to get vaccinated. Hepatitis C, there is a cure. There are direct acting antivirals that are over 95% effective. They're available on the PBS, say 8 to 12 weeks, and hepatitis can be cured. We encourage everyone at all times, but particularly on World Hepatitis Day, to get tested to know their immunisation status.
Alright, so do you know what's the symptoms if you get an hepatitis? Can they come here? Can they go?
So there's acute and chronic hepatitis. It can be asymptomatic. You may not know. However, symptoms include tiredness and fatigue. We run a weekly clinic here at Hepatitis ACT for Hep C testing. It's called Reach, Teach, Treat. It runs from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Every Wednesday here at 36 David Street in Turner. With regards to hepatitis B status, encourage people to speak to their GP and get a test.
Lovely. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
And all the best for this Hepatitis Day.
Thank you very much.
People will come around and get tested.
Yes.
And look after themselves.
Yep, they can find out more on our website. There's information and resources available in multiple languages. hepatitisact.com.au.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank
Sorry, everyone.